What are you eating?
Rice and chicken.
Nice. Healthy.
Yep. Gotta stay healthy in these crazy times.
As you crack open a beer.
All part of a balanced breakfast.
And now it's time for us to digest the lowest rung of pop culture so you don't have to. You're tuned in to the all-new CultureCast. Hello and welcome back, everyone. This is the Joe Rogan Experience. I'm your host, Joe Rogan, and I'll agree with anyone who's my guest host today, no matter how crazy they say anything. No, I'm Nick from the all-new CultureCast. Welcome to another episode, and with me today is...
Cousin Charles.
Hi, I'm Mike.
It's Rick, and I hate Carol Baskin.
And I'm Mike. Thanks for having me over again.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Glad you could be on there. So, as Rick hinted at, we are going to be talking tonight about the runaway smash hit Netflix documentary Tiger King. All about Joe Exotic and his big cats. Hello, cats and kittens. Is that what she says? I can't remember what she says.
It's all you cool cats and kittens.
Right.
That's
yeah.
it. All you cool cats and kittens. That's how I should have opened up the show. I'll say that for another time. But yeah, so I just finally got around to watching it last week.
Oh my God!
I know.
Wow.
I know. I wanted to watch it for the longest time, just never got around to it, and it reminds me of simpler times when the pandemic was new, and we were all innocent, and everyone was like, "Pandemic's not too bad." But
Tiger King was the normal part of 2020, sadly.
It was like,
I mean, this thing just came out of nowhere, you know?
Yeah. If it wasn't for the pandemic, I guarantee you it would not have taken off the way it did.
Oh, we all had a lot of time to sit around and binge watch shows, so.
Yeah, I think me and my wife binged it all in one day because it was early on during the pandemic, and you weren't even allowed to leave your house unless you were just going for groceries.
Yep. I think we did it in like course of like 2 days. Like I think like a Friday night and then Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, my wife and I started watching it last Friday, and we watched like 3 episodes back to back, and then it got late, and we picked it up again. I think the following the Sunday, so 2 days later, and then we finished up the review show, I don't know what it was, the
epilogue, I guess,
with Joe McHale, the worthless follow-up thing that they put on there. We watched that earlier this week, so we plowed through that. I think all of America, if not the world, plowed through the whole thing in a matter of days. But because it's just so crazy, it gets crazier and crazier, and because this was your idea to do this long ago, and you actually had a follow-up idea about doing a 2-parter. We were thinking about doing the other documentary that came out around this time, The Last Dance, which focused on the Chicago Bulls of the 90s. So stay tuned for that, people.
I figured like my idea was kind of like a best of the quarantine. That way, in case if the human species gets wiped out in the next 6 months when the virus evolves, we'll have some documentation of what was good during these trying times.
Joe Exotic is still in the news today. Just the other week, he was trying to appeal to the president for a pardon because, of course, he is. So this guy is something else. So
that's the main thing. It's still I would say it's still going. Like it's despite everything that's going on, it's still managed to stay within like the news cycle, which I'll probably get into a little bit of that later on in the show because the part that made me kind of go, I'm done with all this 2020.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say that this show is like a house fire. Like, just as tragic you know, and you just can't look away. You know, it's just so fascinating. And I would say what's great about the show is all the characters are all so unique and strong. Like, you could not have written something like this. You could not have cast this any better than it's been cast. I mean, these are the real people. And just the beginning of the whole thing is very crazy, but then it's like going down a rabbit hole where things just get more and more and more fascinating. And my favorite part is definitely when Joe Exotic all of a sudden is running for, what was he running for, like mayor or
Governor.
Governor of
yeah.
Oklahoma.
oh my gosh, it just did not stop. It was like a roller coaster, you know.
There was a lot they threw at you, and I'm not gonna lie, at some parts in the documentary, I was a little confused at the timeline, because it seemed like they all filmed within a year to 3 years, but they weren't clear on what kind of came first. They kept going back and forth, but that's something you think about like after the fact.
Well, also what's interesting and what's kind of tragic too is that didn't the filmmaker, and I like how they break the fourth wall, and the filmmaker himself is talking about filming it and what he saw, and you see them filming it and trying to make this documentary over all these years, but they said that one of the trailers burned and destroyed tons of the footage. So yeah, I'm not sure how they were able to kind of put together some of the earlier pieces to the documentary when so much of it had been destroyed, you know.
Well, I actually have a little bit of an answer for that because it's like
back your data up off site. That is
Yep,
very
that's-
okay.
well, when your lawyer gives you some shady advice of like, well, yes, they may own it, but if you get rid of all the copies, I'm not saying to do that, but legally, there's something they can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Which-
plus, I think the footage that burned was the producer of the reality TV show Joe
Yes.
Exotic. I don't think it was the actual documentary that
No.
they were filming.
Oh, I see. My mistake.
No,
And
The-
Joe Exotic did say that he they said in there that he taped everything, just everything that he taped. So
mhm.
I don't know if that had anything to do with anything. Hey,
Well,
really quick.
so did he burn it down because it was evidence against him? Was that what was going on? I mean, was this like a Nixon situation where everything's being recorded and it's used against him later?
I
I think a couple of things. One, it was that there was a lot of stuff on there that he probably didn't want to have had.
Uh-huh.
And two, I think it was a case of he thought he didn't realize he owned all that footage, so he was worried about someone else exploiting it. So
Yeah.
which in the grand scheme of his like life story was probably the least of his concerns, because in terms of people just kind of exploiting him and
Yeah.
using him, man, that was the other. I feel like we should get into the actual show, but that was the other thing that a lot of people like. This guy kind of got like there are points where like, oh, you do feel bad for him. He just wants to be this wild, crazy guy. Then you're like, oh no, he's a horrible shyster who's just trying to rip off people at the, and probably and doesn't give a damn about the cats, which they're quite a lot.
Yeah, he would have these moments where he seems really like charming and down to earth, and then there would be these next moments where he's just completely friggin' unhinged.
And that was everyone on this show. Like
Well,
for example,
Matt will do that to you, right? So
Yeah.
well, like even like the Carol Baskin, like you're watching early on, and you're like, you know what, Carol Baskin's right. He's taking advantage of this. I'm kind of on her side. And the documentary ends with, oh, and Carol Baskins may have killed her husband. End of episode. What? You gotta watch the next episode, and you're like, no, this person's a garbage individual too.
The more you get into it, you're like, oh, they're just all awful. Like there is no good person here. They're just varying degrees of the same horrible human being.
Somebody
Maybe
at
some of
work. Somebody I work with, I sent them a text saying, "Oh, you should check this show out," and he texted me maybe 2 hours later and said, "I hate everybody on this show," and I said, "I know, isn't it wonderful?"
Like some of the workers who worked for Joe Exotic, they seem like the guy with the long hair, and the guy without the legs. Like they seem fairly like we like the cats were this is our job. They don't seem like they were trying to shyster people, but they just got caught up in his web of craziness.
In the many list of like memorable moment or memorable what the fuck moments, I think in the first couple episodes he's like, yeah, I had these custom bullets made, one for me and one for him. That way if things got rough, you know, I take you take me out, I take him out or something.
I forgot about that.
Probably the only innocent person in this whole show is definitely the when he was running for what did you say, governor? His campaign manager.
Fuck the feds.
No,
I mean that guy was pretty funny.
No, I think God, I had it pulled up, but I'm pretty sure the campaign manager, like, again, not to try to destroy like that there aren't any good people involved in this entire story, but I'm pretty sure the campaign manager, like, he was on, I know he got arrested for like, he was like, I think he was arrested for being on drugs, and I think it was something with a katana involved. I can't remember the exact details. My computer is...
I could totally see that happening though.
This sounds on brand. I completely accept this.
Just the fact that he finds this guy he was selling ammo at like the Wal-Mart or whatever, and he's like, "You're gonna be my campaign manager." He's like, "I've always wanted to do that. Let's do it." And he does an okay job. I mean,
as best as he could. I love how he explained like Joe Exotic did not have a platform, so he just gave him what would have been his platform. So let's there's so much to dissect. Let's kind of start. I don't know where even to start at. I mean, do you want to take it by character, and then just kind of go from there?
Let's do that.
Okay. Well,
I got a list here.
Do we want to do Joe Exotic first or Joe Exotic last?
I think Joe Exotic would just come up any character we talk about. We're going to be talking about Joe Exotic, so I think he just kind of comes with any character.
All right. Well,
let's start with Bhagavan, Doc, and Till. That guy.
And I do have a favorite moment with that too.
The cult leader.
Yeah. So it's been a while since I have seen the show. I know, Mike, you just rewatched it, so it's been a few weeks or months for me. But if I remember right, he was running like kind of like a third. Like there's a lot of places doing tiger stuff. You know, there's Joe Exotic, there's Carol Baskin. You know, some of these guys going off and build their own zoo or whatever, and then there's this guy, right? And he's running like the cult, right?
Yeah, I think he's had it for a while though, because I remember Joe Exotic referencing to him as like his mentor. Like he looked up to him.
Oh, right, that's right.
But
I think with Doc, because I think he's still going. Like this whole documentary thing, and even with the COVID, I don't think it slowed him down at all. I think he's still doing his thing.
Well, I guess he's being investigated right now by the U.S. Department of Agriculture for the illegal sale of big cats, according to Wikipedia, the source of all knowledge. So,
then you know it's true.
Yeah, I'm guessing that like this documentary probably opened up the eyes to various law enforcement individuals who are like, let's take a look into this a little bit more.
Yeah. My favorite Doc Antle moment was when they talk about how he has all these various wives and girlfriends, and they keep questioning like Joe's staff and says, oh yeah, he has 9 girlfriends or he has 4 wives, and then they ask the long-haired guy, I think his name is Eric. They don't even finish the question, and he gives my favorite delivery ever. He just says, "I don't fucking care." And I remember I had to pause it because I was laughing so hard. It was just I wasn't expecting it, and the delivery was just perfect. He didn't even get to finish the question. He just, I don't fucking care.
I was really curious when they were interviewing one of his former employees, that girl, the woman, because she said she left in, I think, 2007, 2008, so she left a while ago. I was curious, and they never went back to her after the episode that focused on him, like how she left, how she got out, because it seemed like once those women are there, they're like it's a call,
Well,
and they're there.
and the
I don't
way
think anybody's stopping them from walking down the driveway and leaving, but I think it's like, designed to be like, oh, you want to take care of the tigers, and make you feel bad if you leave or whatever, type of situation. They said they had those girls working crazy hours
Hmm.
and were paid like not even minimum wage, and were living in like squalor.
well,
Brutal, man.
if I remember correctly, I thought they were didn't he like pretty much had like a house for like each of them, like a
Yeah,
full house on their furnished house on like the
they're all
on
like
the
right
side.
next
But
to each
that
other.
was like, it wasn't that for like more like the wives or girlfriends, but if you were just more of like a working woman, I thought they pretty much
Oh.
had you in like really crappy tenements.
You may be thinking of more of the employees at Joe Exotic Zoo. They had just like trailers. Like I think they had trailers. The
Hmm.
Doc Antle's wives, I think they had fully furnished. Like it was like
Yeah, but
like
he
it was
had more
almost like a
people than just his
like a no.
wives working there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They never went into the living situations of the people who weren't the wives and girlfriends. Because you're right, because they did say that, like, oh, like this is my wife's house, this is my girlfriend's house, this is my other girlfriend's house. But beyond that, they didn't talk about how everyone else lived. But yeah, in
No.
Joe Exotic, they lived in like dilapidated trailers, no heat, no air conditioning. It was a disaster zone.
I think he said like, yeah, I find drifters and ex-cons and say, hey,
Yeah.
I'll give you $150 a week and a place to live if you just feed my big cats.
And that's something interesting, because that's what I was like kind of referencing before, where I was like, you think like this is a good guy, this is good, and then like he's trying to give people a second chance. I wouldn't give him a second chance. That's
Well, it's like a
good. It's
fine line
noble.
between like charity and like exploitation. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Okay.
And then you turn the page, exactly, and it's like, oh, by the way, he shoots the tigers in the face because he doesn't want
Yeah.
them. It's
It's
like,
like they have no heat, which is obviously like, a human right is to have heat. But if they're like on the streets, no one gives a crap and they have no heat. So it's like,
yeah,
it's a difficult line, I guess.
right. Well, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like it the documentary sets you up and then brings you back down with the next piece of
It
evidence.
did seem like he did help a lot of people. I mean, they had the one guy that lost his legs, and there were some other people that had issues or whatever, and they seemed like they kind of found a little calling, or they were happy or whatever. So I don't know.
Safi, who lost his arm.
Yeah, he did,
Yeah.
which I think that was like one of that was addressed in one of the first episodes, I think.
I think it
First
was
or
the second
second,
episode, maybe.
yeah, early on, where
Yeah.
just he bit off the arm, and they said you can have like a year and a half of rehab, or we could amputate. And like he was like amputate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, I think from that sequence of like events alone as depicted in the show, the most memes came out of it. Specifically, Joe Exotic specifically made EMT jacket and the phrase "I'm never going to financially recover from this."
I made
I've
a
seen that
couple of those too.
That
I've
was a
seen that
great
pop
quote.
up a lot on Reddit.
A lot of great quotes in this show. Definitely.
Surprisingly, which you don't see too often. I can't think of the last time like a documentary series, but really kind of made sort of like a. And I'm not sure if it was really the circumstances of of COVID, or if it had something, or if it was just because of people were just kind of like dumbfounded that this actually happened. but it is just kind of like, in terms of like capturing like the cultural zeitgeist. Like I can't think of the last time or before this where a show really did that, especially at least from Netflix.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other reality TV shows that wouldn't just be following around like some rich person like the Ozzy Osbournes or documenting like a murder or something like a real murder.
I think the last documentary for me that did something like this was a few years ago, though I think it's been proven it's not really a documentary, was Exit Through the Gift Shop, which I think is just a elaborate Banksy prank. But I still love it.
Well, it was at that point when people still really like Banksy, and now people are just kind of he's there.
Mm-hmm.
I think John Finley, that was one of the husbands, and he was like Mr. Teeth and stuff. I don't think I had anything really too negative about him. I mean, he seemed like a pretty good guy, if I recall.
Yeah, he did.
He's the one that got through the show, unscathed, I would say.
Relative.
It was nice to see he got teeth after the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a shirt.
Yeah.
And he also got Joe's tattoo removed from him too.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
That's how they ended.
It's interesting that Joe Exotic had a preference for the young boys, and the young boys apparently may not have been gay, but they were such drawn in by his personality
and the meth, supposedly.
Yeah, that we kept showering them gifts. Yeah.
And his second husband was Travis. That guy was a freaking mess. He was a disaster.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Watching that video, like you don't see him, thankfully, but you see the reaction of the campaign manager, who, when Travis accidentally shot himself.
Well, was it accident? I thought he did it on purpose.
Yeah, I don't know if it was. It could have been an accident. I don't know.
They make it seem like it was an accident because Travis was fairly confident that if a Luger didn't have its clip in, the gun would not fire, which is a fucking stupid.
He's an idiot. And putting it by your head is not a good way to test it. You do it at the floor.
Yeah, but also wasn't he like super on drugs, and wasn't he like talking about suicide for a while?
Oh yeah, they all were.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we can only go off what the campaign manager said, but according to him and his report about what Travis looked like when he pulled the gun, like I guess he had that moment of, oh shit, I just did something stupid. So I don't know why he would necessarily make that up. We'll never really know. But
I mean, a bullet travels at like 2,500 miles an hour. I don't think he'd be able to make a uh-oh face.
We're only going off of what the guy said, and he's the only witness.
Maybe it's like an insurance thing. Like if you commit suicide, you don't get the insurance payout. So they're like, yeah, it was an accident. That could be.
I guess.
Maybe.
I mean, that could totally fit in with this show. So I'm going to go with that.
That's why not?
I also buy the angle that maybe it was an accident because they're all idiots. I love them, but they were all doing risky crap on a day-by-day basis.
And it's not the first time this guy had pulled something like that, where he's like pulling guns out on people, thinking it's funny. So
he pulled it on the campaign manager. He said he was sleeping. He woke up and the gun was in his face. He said, "Don't do that to me."
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
What? Are you telling me you guys don't do that for fun?
My wife does that to me every morning. I wake up, there's a barrel right in my face.
And then the third husband was Dylan. I don't really recall him too much. What was his story?
They went on a date, and then like a month later they were married. So, he was not interviewed for anything, so we don't really know.
It was so fast. Like they met like at the other guy's like funeral or something, right? I mean, it was just like so quick.
Yeah.
Actually, I think Joe Exotic said he met him in like a chat room, and then it was very quickly after Travis's death.
Yeah, I remember watching that, and he had the interview people. He's like, yeah, he's getting ready. He's putting on his cologne, his stuff. He's like, yeah, it's my first date after Travis has died. I'm a little nervous. I hope it goes well. I turned over to my wife. I'm like, how much time has passed here? And it was revealed it was like a month later. It's like, What?
Yeah.
You got to move on.
And how about Joe's very uncomfortable funeral speech?
He
Well,
made it about him.
Him and certain Travis's body parts rubbing his
Yeah.
face. And
Little
his
golden
mom's there. And he even emphasizes, he's like, if you know him, you know it. I was waiting for him to point at the mom and say, hey, you know what I'm talking about.
I
Well,
love how Joe Exotic dressed up as a priest.
yes, a cowboy priest, and
It sings a song, too.
oh man, and I think it was and Jeff Lowe even brought out his nicest biker jacket for that occasion. Oh,
And the awkward clapping. The awkward
I
clapping.
feel like I'd be okay with Joe Exotic giving a eulogy at my funeral.
It would be memorable.
But I think
I'd be okay with it.
if he's still alive, we'll see what we can do.
well, he's got. Didn't they say he got the Joe Exotic is like got the COVID or is at risk of getting COVID or something?
Oh,
I
I
heard-
guarantee he's at risk of getting COVID, but I don't know if he.
Jail's at risk.
I thought I read he did get it. I don't know what his status is currently, but I thought I read that he did get it.
Let's see. Fact check. Did Joe Exotic of Tiger King get tested for positive for COVID? This is on the Statesman, so I don't know if this is a legit site, but.
Survey says.
Oh, I don't want to. It's a paywall. Screw this.
That's how they get you. You want to find out facts about Tiger
it's just
King, and they're like,
Snoops.
you have to pay for it.
It's
Snoop.
just fake news.
It's just fake news. It's not on. If I don't, I get all my news from angry guys in trucks making YouTube videos. Oh, mostly false. Mostly false according to Snoops.com. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
You know, they had so many characters in this show that I don't know how they were able to film all this stuff and have all the different interviews and everything. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, they had a lot of side characters. Like, they had Jeff Lowe, then they had that Mario guy who was like the Scarface.
Yeah.
You know, like just all these shady characters are just
And
coming out of
James the
nowhere.
businessman.
Yeah, he was really funny.
Was James the jet ski guy? I
Yes.
can't remember.
Yeah.
Yes. He was the jet ski guy. He was the quote unquote undercover guy
Yeah.
who was gonna set Joe Exotic up.
He sounds like he would be like Trump's like fixer or something like that. Yeah.
Probably sees himself as that. Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were watching it.
Whoa.
We saw the quote under his name that said businessman. My wife's like, businessman? What the
He works at a place where business happens. Don't ask about it. Don't think too many questions.
Fair point.
All right. Are you guys ready to have your minds blown here?
Yes.
Oh,
So, do you remember the character of Mario, who was the big cat owner? He was arrested for something for like smuggling cocaine and all of that, and then I think he was the one who had the
some people got killed and he got blamed or whatever, or might have been part of it.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't kill anyone, but I saw it, so I got blamed for it, or something crazy like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know who his brother-in-law is?
Hmm.
Who?
Marco Rubio.
No.
Wow.
Honest to God.
No.
That is nuts.
I mean,
Whoa.
if my connection on Wikipedia here is because he's married to Rubio's sister, apparently, that's insane.
That
Wow.
is really weird.
It's all connected.
Oh my god.
Anyway, sorry, little fun trivia fact for everyone there. They don't talk about that on the
No.
on the thing.
We need a season 2.
Oh yeah, let's just all get out of the way. There's definitely probably gonna be a season 2 in probably like a year or so. Am I right?
If anyone wants to go on it, I mean, you're not going to get Carol Baskin. You're not going to get Jeff Lowe. You probably won't get Antel. Kirkham has nothing more to say. half of them don't even work at the zoo anymore. I
The
don't
zoo,
know.
I think the zoo, the last thing, again, maybe because been a slow news cycle, but I'm pretty sure the zoo is officially like shut down.
Well, because of coronavirus, I think it's still open, but
I thought it was, or maybe maybe I read my sources wrong.
oh wait, hang on. Interesting. In May 2020, this is according to Wikipedia, federal judge Scott Polk of the Western District Court of Oklahoma gave ownership of the park to Baskin after ruling that Exotic fraudulently transferred his ownership to his mother. So that's interesting. So let's see. So, huh. Oh, Rick, you just sent a link here.
Yeah, the campaign manager is on Twitter, and he seems to post a lot.
Oh, if
Are
he's
they
a
helpful tweets? Are they nice, pleasant tweets?
A lot of here's me and Joe Exotic doing this. Here's me and Joe Exotic doing that.
well,
Hey, you got to write those coattails somehow.
Yeah,
Gotta
yeah.
stay relevant.
gotta eat.
Mhm.
But
There's just so much that goes on with this show. Like I had to rewatch it this weekend, and after we were done, I immediately almost forgot everything again because there's so much crazy shit that happens on the show. So I had to rewatch it again today just to try to remember everything.
So he's got on here, I have lowered my charge for personal and business cameos and will answer any and all questions you have about Joe that wasn't in the documentary.
someone needs a paycheck.
Let's
How
give him
much?
$5 and get him on this podcast, huh?
We should.
I-
Oh man, we should follow-up episode. We'll have Joe McHale
It's
host.
like $20,
Yeah.
man.
We'll all pool our resources. $20 to come on our show.
Yeah.
I got my change jar right here.
Yeah, I think I can give up buying wine for a week or two if that helps. No promises though.
So,
He looks
do you guys?
desperate, so we could get it for cheap, I think.
I'll legitimately reach out to him and see if anything happens. I'm not expecting it to, but
You never know.
I know.
What else are they doing?
Nothing.
He's running the Libertarian Party down in Oklahoma.
Good luck with that one. So, okay. Do we have anything to say about Rick Kirkham, the TV producer?
I like that. He seemed interesting. I feel like there could be a documentary on that guy.
Yeah,
You know, he looks like
did
he's
they
got
say
that
he
story.
did he say that he worked on Extra or he
He worked for
invented it?
Bill. I think he worked for Bill O'Reilly at one point when Bill
Yeah.
O'Reilly was on whatever that show was before he was on Fox.
So
Yeah, like
he's had a career. There's like stuff that he could probably talk about throughout his whole producing career.
He's
Like,
actually
he-
the only one I liked on the show because he knew it was the shit show it was, and he was honest about it.
well, he looked at it as like this is nuts. I can make $1 million just recording these idiots, and you could kind of like, because I think timeline wise that would have been like what, early 2010s. I think is when he's there. I think he's like, this could be like the next Duck Dynasty. I'm almost positive that's what this dude was thinking.
Well, what's
And he was
interesting
probably right.
is I feel like the streaming, Netflix and stuff has kind of been able to bring forth like new, different types of shows that maybe we wouldn't have really been interested in back when it was just more streaming one episode at a time, And I feel like he was almost shooting this before that Netflix style came out. So the timing really worked out that he was able to get all this and then get it on that streaming platform like that.
I think he was honestly going for like, if you guys ever seen any of those like TLC shows or like me and Megan have been rewatching a lot of like Kitchen Nightmares. I think he was thinking something like that, where it's like, okay, we're going to craft a story and it's going to have a moral lesson somewhere, about Joe, you shouldn't do drugs or something like that, where it's like, we fight, but at the end of the day, we resolve our differences. There'd be some tacked on BS to make it seem like, oh, everybody learned a lesson from today's episode event. And I could see that show happening on like on a Fox or a TLC or like I know exactly what network to put it on. Like Country Music Television. I know that was that's like a cable network. But that same sort of style of like trashy reality, but also scripted in a way that makes it more palatable to like regular folks like you and me.
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff on there that I don't think conservatives really like too much. A lot of violence. It's a pretty crazy documentary. Like to have these different networks pick it up might be difficult.
Oh, they've all seen it. Everybody's seen it. They won't admit it, but they've seen it.
Oh yeah.
But I mean you look at like some of those TLC where they're like what was it the like 19 Kids Accounting, the Duggars, and it turns out those people are fucking weirdos. It's like he would have fit perfectly along that sort of like television landscape if that show ever came to fruition. But
yeah.
And the positive about this documentary series is, up front, everybody here is a mess. Nobody's presented as holier than thou or perfect. It's like, no, everybody is a giant mess on here.
Yep. There is the one point I did want to make, and I do apologize if I come out like a snob when I say this. So, Tiger King came out back in March of this year, which that feels like a lifetime ago. Yeah. But so I actually knew about this story way before, like back in like late, I want to say November or December of 2019, because there was a podcast. I think it's been brought up on the show before. I think Dirty John.
Oh yeah, we talked about Dirty John before. That's another screwy story.
Yeah. But that same podcast company had made a series about Joe Exotic, and I knew all the details of the story going. So Megan's watching this
fancy
with me.
Pants.
Yeah. So they're going. I'm like, oh, I know exactly what's going to happen. I know. It was weird. It was like
insider trading. He should have bought like some stock in Netflix before it came out. He's like, I know what's happening here.
I was like, I know.
Plus Tiger King equals money.
Yeah. I should have gotten ahead of the curve.
So what's also funny is that my wife tells me after we watched the show, she's like, we went on vacation in Florida and we went to whatever Carol Baskin's tiger place is.
Big Cat Rescue?
Yes, she's like, we went to Big Cat Rescue.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, we did? I'm like, I don't even remember. I'm sure it wasn't that interesting, but
how could you forget?
It wasn't something I was going to remember. I didn't know that it was going to be on a documentary that was going to be so interesting and be the talk of the year.
Well, shame on you.
It was just a crappy zoo, you know what I mean?
Well, Baskin's going to kill you for that.
I know. But now I need to go back and go check it out.
But do you try to find the remains of her husband?
Yeah.
Let's move on to that, because let's face it, we all need to talk about this. Carol Baskin, yep. Do you think she did or didn't kill her husband?
So this is the husband before the new husband that's on the show, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So and what's the situation that he just disappears and
yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember the details, but I think she did.
Supposedly, so this guy, the first husband, whose name escapes me at the moment.
Don Lewis.
Don Lewis, thank you. She had met him in the early 90s. They got married. He left his family. He was much older than her. They were married for, I don't know, a handful of years. And then he was getting fed up with her, allegedly. And he was going to leave her. He was getting already things in place. And then one day he just magically disappeared. And
Find his truck at like an airport or something like that, but then it was strange that the whole thing was set up.
Yeah, there were things that weren't like lining up. It was very weird. And I guess when someone disappears, they have to be missing for so long before they could be declared officially dead. And supposedly, like the day that had happened, she went. The day that would have been, legally she can do it. Carol Baskin went in and said, "Yeah, he declare him legally dead," which again raised more flags.
Right.
So there's like his old family and daughters are convinced that she killed him. There's Joe Exotic. I don't know if he actually believes he killed her, but he hated Carol Baskin with a passion, so he was going to slander her name however he could.
Yeah.
I think all those guys are in that like sort of private, sort of roadside zoo business. We're running the theory. Oh yeah, Carol Baskin, she killed her husband. Like they were all. I think that Doc, Joe, I'm pretty sure everyone else they interviewed that was like not Carol's team was in the camp of, yeah, she definitely killed her husband and he's buried under the septic tanker. So,
otherwise, where could the guy freaking be? Do you know what I mean? Like, if he just wanted to get out of there and disappear, that's one thing. But once the documentary comes out, he could easily just get on Twitter and then say something to the world. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, you can't. I just can't see how you could just disappear these days. Unless you really want.
I definitely think something happened to him. I don't know if she had anything to do with it. It's fun to joke about that. Yeah, she had him killed. But it was mentioned that he did cheat. Like he was a serial cheater. It's possible he could have cheated with somebody and the husband could have taken him out or something.
Yeah.
He's kind of shady himself.
I definitely fall into the camp of, I'm not going to 100% say Carol killed him or had him killed, but she definitely took advantage. Definitely her world is a lot better without Don Lewis being around.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's one of those things where it's like, it's kind of hard to argue like that it's like, well, there's not a smoking gun that you did do it, but your life has turned out pretty good that he's not here, amongst the land of the living.
Supposedly, because of so I guess since the documentary aired, Carol Baskins obviously was very upset because she felt betrayed that they talked about all that stuff, and but I guess a lot of people in the town that she lives in or the area that she lives in is very happy because it's like, I guess, an open secret that Carol Baskins is a garbage human being that's really that's really like vindictive and just a bad person, and they're happy that the documentary is bringing more awareness to that. And supposedly the disappearance of her husband's case, or the case of her husband's disappearance, has been reopened in light of this. So we'll see.
It'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
I wonder if it's going to impact the results of this year's Dancing with the Stars.
Oh God.
Going back to what I was saying earlier, that's the moment that 2020 broke me, because I thought it was. I literally thought it was I thought it was somebody who took like a bad Photoshop and put Carol Baskin's name. Then I was like, nope, it's legit. Carol Baskin is going to be on Dance Her Ass Off from America.
That's it. The virus deserves to wipe us out after that.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't one more thing before we leave that the possible murder? So wasn't it something about that the husband was going to change the will and not leave any of the property to Carol or something like that? Like, wasn't there something where she had changed the will or something in order to like be able to claim that property? Or
I think
play there.
I think if I remember correctly, I think he was like working on a redraft of his will that did cut her out. So you are correct.
Yeah, and then that started the series of events, perhaps.
Right, because I know he told his like secretary, like, hey, if something happens to me, show the cops this. And it was like his first attempt to get like restraining order or something like that against her.
Yeah, because she threatened to kill him.
Right. Which the whole which her whole story, even leading up to the murder, is, the way that they got. I mean, she was doing the exact. And I know everybody's probably brought this up, but she was doing the exact same stuff that all these guys are doing now. But she's just going, no, no, no.
You didn't say the magic word.
Yeah.
This whole series is like a Coen Brothers movie. They're straight out of a Coen Brothers movie.
And then obviously, I don't want anybody killed or anything like that, but I mean, it was fairly humorous in the documentary of Joe Exotic's hate for Carol Baskin, and he had like his little internet videos that he would shoot or whatever, and he'd be
blow up doll.
He'd blow up doll, he'd be like, doing stuff to the doll or whatever. So I mean, it was all very kind of humorous, but as far as the whole reason why he was convicted and everything, I mean, again, I don't really recall exactly, but wasn't it sort of like he was set up a little bit? Like the police or somebody undercover was kind of like, hey, why don't we go? Like kind of pushed him over the edge, like, hey, we can go kill her. Hey, 50% off a killing, let's do it. And he's like, all right, let's do it. And it wasn't kind of entrapment a little bit or something?
Well, that's a big question, because he was convicted, among other things, for the hiring a hitman to kill Carol Baskin. But the way other people have made it out to be is that, was it Jeff and his right-hand guy, what's his name?
Let me pull it up. I know I have it saved somewhere. Let's see.
I want to say James, but I don't think that's right.
Alan Glover.
Yes. So that Jeff and his buddy Alan Glover, they hated Joe. I mean, this is very clear. Like, Alan hated Joe, and it always struck me as weird that he'd be willing to go and kill someone for Joe. I mean, it's weird. Like, why would you do that for someone you hate? But it almost sounds like they talked about like killing her, like, oh look, here are the plans, and Joe was like, yeah, whatever, not really, because anytime he said he was going to kill her, he was doing it not seriously, like in jest. And like between him, Jeff Lowe, Alan Glover, and James Garretson,
businessman.
Yep.
Businessman.
They created a narrative that, they got Alan to go and kill her, and enough to where people would believe it because he was always talking about it. So I think he was set up. I mean, he had plenty of other crimes to get arrested for, don't get me wrong, but for the hitman job, I think that was a setup.
Yeah.
I think it definitely was like more, I could see it being more like, well, this might be a good way to like get the feds or like law enforcement in the door, and then they find evidence of other shit, and that's what they've used. I think he was convicted more so of wasn't it more the animal abuse, or is it more the
that was definitely
can't remember.
Part of
it. It was a ton of things. It was like a smorgasbord of like federal charges.
Yeah.
But I think the other reason why they went through with this is, I mean, he made daily threats against her, and he would post these videos online. He even posted her address on Facebook. It's like, look, I found the bitch. She's right here.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think in their very early history of their kind of like their back and forth, I think he like had rented a helicopter and he drove and like flew over.
Yeah.
And then again,
I mean, he shouldn't be doing stuff like that, but it is hilarious. If this was like a TV show, like a humorous cartoon, like a King of the Hill or something like that. And this was what's the one character on King of the Hill who's always thinking the government's after him?
Dale.
Dale. Yeah. It feels like this would be Dale doing this. Yeah.
It's so surreal that what he was doing in this and
I wish we knew back in the day about like those old internet videos, and like you like think that you like discovered some sort of gold. You're like, what the hell is this? It's so funny.
Well, that's the weird thing is like Joe was actively like on again going into these weird sort of patches of the internet. Like he had sort of cultivated this whole little internet persona where he kind of like he just sort of existed. And that's the biggest thing about this. I think that's why people are so fascinated is like, a lot of true crime stories like, oh, this happened like 5 years ago, 10 years ago. This happened like, it happened a while back. This is like, oh, this happened now. Like this happened within recent memory, like when most of us are, are kind of aware of like of stuff happening, of stuff going on like this. And I think that's one of the reasons why I think this whole story is just so fascinating is because it is something that like, oh yeah, this was something that we probably could have been witness to, or maybe we even heard of, like even in the background of our sort of like information cloud or something like that,
Well, that and his catchy music too.
Yeah.
It was so funny. It reminded me of like, I don't know, like Jurassic Park, where they had like all the different like gift stuff that they're trying to build, all the merchandising, or like Spaceballs, like Spaceballs, the rocket launcher,
Spaceballs, the lunchbox.
Yeah.
Spaceballs, the flamethrower.
I mean, he had like everything: shirts, hats. He had
underwear.
I mean, it was just ridiculous.
Oh yeah, the underwear. I forgot about that.
Did he have like Joe Exotic like condoms? I mean, that was
when he was running for governor. He made condoms with his face on them because
really?
His philosophy was, if you don't vote for me, you're screwed. So here you go.
Oh my God.
I do remember that John Oliver bit when they showed it on the show. Yeah. When he had it way back when, or whenever that was, when he was originally trying to run for president.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and everyone was like, oh, everyone back then was like, oh, how funny, this crazy guy, before we all, I think then it was like, oh no, hindsight being 20/20. Well, the other thing I will say, going back to all his merchandising, this is one of the things that they talked more about in the podcast series, and they didn't really bring up the documentary. That is not Joe singing.
Of course. What?
Like,
no, I'm shocked. What?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure at first. I mean, clearly it wasn't, but I'm like, man, that sounds too good. Is it him? But
did he make lyrics at least?
Did a more convincing job of singing "Johnny Be Good."
Yeah.
I mean, did he write the songs at least? That's what I want to know.
I don't think he did.
It was
these hits.
Well, I think because in the podcast they also had Rick, the producer guy, and Joe like showed him, like some of his music, like, and even Rick was like, "Is that you?" He's like, "Oh yeah, that's me. That's me." And it's like, I think it's like some country band that's down there in Oklahoma, but he would just be like, I think Joe like paid him to be like more or less like a ghost writer, like, hey, write these songs. I'm going to be in the music video, and then I'm just going to say that I'm you or something like that. Like, I'm going to be the face of this.
And it's funny because he'll listen to his music in his car and he'll say, "No, that's me singing," and then he sings along to it, and you're like, "Okay, no, he did not sing this."
No.
You know what? Too, like, as much as these people are idiots and perhaps not always doing things for the right reasons, you have to say
Except
that
for businessman.
They're pretty clever. You know what I mean? Like that, he was able to figure out how to make all this stuff and get, create this whole, thing. I mean, it's a lot. You know what I mean? To create a business like that,
Well, especially again that it's been what, 6 months, or it's been like a while since Tiger King originally came out, and I think it still gets brought up. There's still news coming about it. That's why I do hope that they're kind of like how Making a Murderer had like a follow-up season, which was one part of like, okay, here's what the current legal stuff is with the case, but also kind of like the reaction to, the show by people. I definitely feel like there is going to be, I'm not sure if they're going to have the same level of interviews. Like you mentioned, Carol Baskin's probably not going to go anywhere near a camera again. Again, outside of Dancing with the Stars, but I do think they could probably get some of these people back just for just for like kind of like how much it's blown up as a pop culture
Well, I'm sure they
phenomenon.
can afford to pay a lot more money now too, and I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
These guys are all about money, so who cares? It's already out there, so why not come back on and talk a little more about it?
Well, that's, and I would say probably like kind of again, I kind of going back to sort of like how much of a bunch of a lightning in the bottle, such an oddity it was. Like when these, because I think I read that the series itself, they started production back in like 2014. And I'm not sure the podcast series I followed. I'm not sure when they started following this guy, but it led up to the current, like conviction, which means that when they started this, like when these two separate media entities started following the story, they had no idea that it was going to blow up to this. That, oh yeah, this guy's going to get charged with murder for hire. They probably thought, oh, this could be like a weird little, fluff piece or something about this weirdo out in Oklahoma just doing his thing.
Yeah.
Like they had no. I think they just happened to be at the right place at the right time. Like, oh yeah, we're making a story with this guy, and this guy happens to be, go to jail for, a crime that sounds so
Well, it
ludicrous.
reminds me of remember the Simpsons episode where the ice cream guy was like following Homer around, and Marge's like, "You just follow us around." He's like, "Ladies, this guy's put my kids through college."
Yeah.
I just feel like it's just like just turn the camera on, point it, and then the rest just kind of writes itself.
Mhm.
You never know what's gonna happen with these characters. So
Well, have you guys? Well, I think you guys know they're actually working on the. I'm not sure if it's going to be a movie or like an actual kind of like scripted TV show, but you've heard some of the like rumored casting of like of actual
Oh, yeah.
actors.
yes,
Oh, yeah.
and I am so excited.
I got mixed feelings about it.
Oh, I've not heard much of this, so please enlighten me.
Okay, so so far I'm not sure if it's going to be like a TV series or like if it's going to be an actual film. I'm leaning more towards like it's supposed to be an actual TV show from everything I've heard, like an actual like scripted dramatization of all this stuff. So far for casting, from what I've heard or what I'm very confused, there's only two people, Carol and Joe, which are your main guys. Carol Baskin, I think they've tapped Kate McKinnon to play her. And for the one and only Joe Exotic, the only man who is qualified to capture him, the one and only Nicolas Cage.
I could see that. I mean, he basically played a Joe Exotic lookalike in Con Air.
Oh, I was going to go with Raising Arizona.
I feel like Nicolas Cage is Joe Exotic from like another dimension. If things would have worked out differently somehow.
I mean, we could
Perfect.
we could do a whole episode on the oddity that is Nicolas Cage's career, but this just being
True.
kind of
And
but
his
this
kid,
film, yeah. But
I just
doing
don't
this-
think the world can handle this. You're talking about two over-the-top characters, and their universes meeting. I think the world's going to explode if this
I
happens.
feel like they need to hurry up because if we could go ride 2020 out on this, that'd be great.
the only thing I worry is I feel like a lot of Nicolas Cage's great moments are him being genuinely taking what should be a fairly straightforward scene and just going completely nuts with it. I do worry that they're going to just be like lean into the fact that, okay, this is a crazy story. We've got a crazy actor. Let's just do crazy things, and it's going to kind of lose some of that Nick Cage magic. But I do have high hopes.
I agree. I think a lot of most of his fun stuff comes from things that he's trying to play straight, but his craziness just comes out of it.
So let me ask you this about Carol Baskin. So do you think that she really cares about the Tigers and thinks that what the other people are doing are bad and she's trying to shut them down and she does have a point, like what do you do with these Tigers? You can't put them back into the wild, so they're held here. But
I think she likes them. I think she likes them, but I think she's an opportunist, just like everybody else on the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
It's just she has a different agenda, but she's an opportunist. She's an opportunist. You know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because I think they went into a lot more. I can't remember if it was the documentary I'm recalling or on the podcast I listened to. Podcast, by the way, for anyone listening, it was called Over My Dead Body, Joe Exotic. So if you're listening to this and you want to find out more, but I think because what happened was from what I understand of Carol's story, they started by adopting like I think a bobcat kitten, and as anyone with a friend who has cats knows, you have one cat, it turns into two cats, and eventually three cats, and it just keeps growing from there. And that was kind of, and I joke, but that was kind of what Carol's story was. Like they started with one bobcat kitten, and then they got more bobcats, and then I think eventually they found like a fur farm, and they adopted all the cats out of there. And initially they were like selling them as pets and stuff like that to people, but then like they were basically starting to do their own what all these other guys are doing. They were breeding the cats and then selling them to people. But then I think Carol had a change of heart, but I think her husband Don was seeing more of the business side of it, and I think that's when she started shifting more towards like rescuing the animals. But it definitely is more. There definitely is more of a sense with her that she's taking advantage of like the cards she's dealt with. Like, well, okay, I want to get involved in cats. Okay, so here's how I'm going to sell cats and make money. Okay, can't really sell the cats anymore. So let's try to take advantage of like how do I make a living but still stay on like a relatively moral high ground.
Right, and now it can be a non-profit and all our tax savings.
Exactly.
Was anybody else
Then
was anybody else
it's
disturbed?
like a real nut job.
Mhm.
Was anybody else disturbed by the fact of how cheap it was to get a tiger? It was like what? I think Joe Exotic said like what, $2,000?
I have looked this up several times on the internet, and yes, you can get tiger cubs for less than a used car.
We have a French bulldog, and he cost more than that.
Again.
So what you're saying is getting a big cat is more cost effective than a
I
French
guess so.
bulldog.
Yeah. I wished I had known that back then. I would have gotten a cub.
Well, hell, I told several people during when that came out, the first stimulus checks were coming through. I was like, we got to pool a resource together, get some tiger cubs and start making some real hard cash. And I think that's like I guess that kind of goes back to again the success of Tiger King is just timing is everything. If this came out at any other time than this particular moment in human history, I think it would have been still good. I think a lot of people still have talked about it, but I don't think it would have been as much of it wouldn't have exploded so much in the cultural zeitgeist.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with that. I think it still would have been popular, but it's just the timing was perfect. And it was like right at the beginning of the pandemic, right at the beginning where we had the restrictions where you really weren't supposed to leave the house or anything.
Well, the other thing is that I think it was shot really well and kind of laid out well in all the episodes. I know it does get confusing because there's so much going on, so many characters. But here's the thing: is like in the first few episodes, they just kind of concentrate on just Joe Exotic and what's going on with him, and then his hate for Carol Baskin, and then eventually they start opening it up. Oh, Carol might have killed her husband. Oh, there's these people coming in and trying to steal the zoo from Joe, and he just expands and expands and expands because there's so many characters, so many different things. Like you get lost if it all came in on the timeline. If you just want like a normal timeline, it's too much. You have to like gradually bring different things in as you go through the episodes.
They definitely did a good job. I will say, besides the content of the show, the documentary itself is well. I agree with you 100%, Rick. It is just it's just a well-made documentary, well structured documentary.
Mm-hmm.
But it does bring up some questions of all the things to include. Mainly because one of the things in rewatching it, the jet ski scene. What? Like
there were
who's
whose idea was
What was that?
the one guy who worked with the feds? Like I think it must have been right
Businessman.
after
A
businessman.
I got a picture of him up right now. He's on a jet ski. Go.
Yeah, it was like right after. It was like in the last episode or second to last. I can't remember which one it was, but it was like they had clearly finished wrapping his interview, like went through all of his interview questions, and they were like, and then they jump cut to like, he's like, hey, I'm gonna get out of here, and the jump cut to him on a jet ski. I think Eye of the Tiger is blasting.
Yes.
And it's like, whose idea was this? Like, who thought? Yeah, we need a money shot.
There were a couple
it's
things.
hilarious. It's hilarious. It's comedy gold, and it cannot be wasted. That would
I'm
be
sure.
fine.
I'm sure they did it to goof on him, and in his stupid mind, he's like, "Oh, this will make me look cool," and the director's like, "No, this will be funny.
Yeah.
Let's do this."
There's some things in the documentary that, like, there are some shots that were clearly that's a Joe Exotic stand-in that they had him like walking away for dramatic effect for certain shots, and fine. But like there are some shots like with Alan where they're talking about like he got into his car and he went down to he was going to go down to Florida or wherever Carol Baskin lives, but he stopped midway and you see him like driving in his car. Like did they say like, hey, reenact this? Like,
Oh, I'm
like
sure they did.
driving-
Yeah.
Well,
it's
I mean, they're not gonna be like, hey, can we come with you for this this hit on Carol Baskin so we can
no,
film?
Yeah,
Right.
obviously, it's just it's clearly that was taped after the fact. It's just interesting that one, they're able to get him to do it, and two, he actually did it. But I mean, I guess if they offer him cash, who knows?
Yeah.
Well, they also told Alan, Alan was like, "Hey, I'm going to take a bath. We can keep asking questions. I'm just going to shower up.
But
I'm give myself a good sponge bath."
he was wearing his pants in the bath. I don't know if you noticed that when he jumped in the bath, he was still wearing pants. It's like,
Well,
what is going on here?
Well, maybe he's a never nude, like on Arrested
He never-
Development. There's dozens of us.
Dozens.
I found Carol Baskin's husband to be really creepy. Creepy.
Yeah.
You know?
Don't cross her, guy. Don't cross her.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, man.
I don't know, there's something weird about that guy, how he's just so softly spoken, but then the next second he's like singing to her.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He seems obsessed with her. And then they got that picture of him like, you know, in a tiger like clothes or whatever with like a leash around his neck, and it's just like, what is going on there?
It's metaphorical. It's
Yeah.
their marriage.
Really,
Plus, he
really
probably thinks he's probably afraid of her too. He probably thinks she killed him. Killed her first husband.
maybe.
Yeah, he is. Surprisingly, in a show like this, he is not the weird. He's the most normal out of everyone. Given
That's true.
or the most subdued when it comes to just like the eccentric nature of just everyone involved, because everybody has like a quirk. Everybody's got their own little thing going on, which makes.
I thought he was pretty normal
the
until I saw
quiet
that picture.
guy. Like, he could be the quiet guy, but he was like the mastermind behind the whole thing the whole time, or something like that, you know?
Probably was. Now that you mention it, he took out Carol's husband. He set what's his face up for the murder.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I thought it was pretty normal too until I saw the picture, and then I was like, "Wait, what? What is this?"
well, I had no idea that until the show. I had no idea that Carol kind of looked that way with the crown of flowers and like the full hippie look. Just pretty much sealed it for me with her.
Speaking of, the stand-in for her in Joe Exotic's "Here Kitty Kitty" music video,
Yeah.
I will say she looked like her. It really looked like her. It was a good stand-in for her.
I'll give Joe Exotic credit. He knows he's not dumb. He knows how to piss someone off. Like that music video, like how he also came up with the Big Cat Rescue Entertainment and
Yeah.
made people think her thing was his thing. I mean, that's brilliant trolling right there. I
You know
mean,
what I feel is
super
so
illegal.
ironic with this whole situation is like, Joe was trying to be like popular, and he was trying to gain like followers and sell his merchandise. He's, going along with the filming of this whole documentary, and by the end, when it gets on Netflix and the whole world knows who Joe Exotic is, he's in jail.
That has to eat him up.
Da, 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 da.
I mean, if you're making the movie, I mean, when the movie does or TV show or however the hell they're going to do it, when that comes out, I mean, that's going to be the final message of it. Like, he's got all the popularity he's ever wanted, and he's behind bars, just like the animals. That's.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it writes itself, but it practically, the whole story practically writes itself in a very nice, neat little bow.
I wonder if they'll do it in the style of the movie Pain and Gain from a couple years back, where it's like a comedy drama. That it's like, this is a true-ish story, but you can't take anything in this seriously because it's too ridiculous.
I could see that. I could very easily see that. But no, hell, I would. Yeah.
You know what this also reminds me of? I forget the director. Mike, you could maybe help me out. Who did like Rushmore and
Wes
Anderson.
Wes Anderson. It just feels like this could be Wes Anderson material.
It almost seems too over the top for Wes Anderson. Like, Wes Anderson's characters are always so like subtle in their ridiculousness. Joe Exotic is too like in your face.
Yeah, I'm thinking more Coen Brothers, like Fargo, Big Lebowski.
That could be, yeah.
Just so out there characters, every single one of them scheming somehow. Just one scheme more ridiculous than the other.
Now, did they ever show Joe Exotic's like parents at all?
They did.
There are a few shots.
Yeah.
They're just like this old little elderly couple who's like, we're just going along with this.
Carol Baskin tried to take their house or something.
Really? It just always like these characters are so crazy. It always like, I'm always interested to be like, what parents created these children? Are their parents anything like the kids? You know what I mean? Or is it just totally random?
Well, Joe Exotic did say earlier on that and who knows how truthful this is, because his parents did show up later on, that at least his dad kicked him out of the house because he came out to them as gay. But then again, they were in the show, so clearly they still had some presence in his life.
Right.
But it was also revealed that he was taking advantage of them.
Oh, jeez. Because he needed money or something?
Yeah, money.
Lawyers.
Yeah, because he was writing everything like, oh, well, I don't own anything. My parents, everything's written in my parents' name. So that way, if they tried to, which is a shocker, really super illegal.
I think at one point in time, like the one of his husbands everything was in his name.
I think so. Well, he moved. That was the big thing, and I think got him in trouble. Is he was moving all the titles to like the land and to like the vehicles and everything between different people to the point where it's like, and creating like different. Oh, well, this business now closed down. It's now this business, So all the assets were just getting shuffled around, and that was like the main thing that got him in the end.
Because he didn't want Carol to get any of it, so he figured if he'd move it around.
No.
Now, what about the brand new zoo that like Jeff Lowe and some other people were building somewhere? Did it ever get finished, and where's that at? And
Nope.
He was working with that Tim guy who owned another big cat rescue type place, and Tim got fed up with Jeff because Jeff just abuses people.
Yeah.
And so I think that fell apart because in the recovery, in the Joe McHale episode, they said that Tim quit. Oh no, they talked about that earlier, but that the new thing wasn't going forward because he couldn't get the right funding for it. So,
well, which I do want to briefly touch upon before we forget. I do kind of want to bring slight special attention to that epilogue episode.
Mhm.
I rewatched that because I was like the only one that I didn't watch that one at the time when I watched all the other episodes. So the one thing I will say, man, what a shoddily put together thing. Like, hey, why of all the people to have sort of host this after show, why Joel McHale?
Yeah, that's
Don't get me
kind of
wrong.
weird.
Don't get me wrong. I like Joel McHale enough. I was a fan of the Soup back when I was younger. But it is one of those things where it's like you couldn't get the original director or anybody else or someone who's remotely involved with this story. Instead, we just randomly picked Joel McHale, who, by the way, I don't know if you guys had the same thought. It's kind of the whole time it kind of sounded like he lost a bet, and the bet was, and he had to, and as punishment, he had to host a follow-up show to Tiger King.
Well, what I got from that was I think he was a big fan of the series and he wanted to do it. And I think it was based on when he would host the Soup. He would make fun of shows and reality shows like this. So I think he felt maybe it was kind of like he could take it on.
That's probably the closest thing that makes the remote kind of like a little bit of sense. But it is just kind of like very much like, okay, we got 10-minute interviews with like everybody who's not Carol or Joe.
They were trying to milk it more. They knew they had
yeah.
something, so they're like, okay, let's do one more episode. And I hated the way they teased it. They teased it like it was an actual. Oh wow, there's this unaired episode we're gonna see, and then it's like, oh no, it's just it's like watch what happens live on Bravo.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Like it's not like the. Again, going back to one of the things, the series well shot and well put together, and then it's like, okay, we record a couple of Zoom calls, which, and we put them together and call it a special.
Well, and I mean, I guess they'll save it for future episodes or whatever. But I wanted to see. I feel like just him being in jail. That I'm sure he's making friends, and there's all sorts of things happening in there that'd be interesting to see. And if I recall, the last bit of conversation was just audio of him being in jail. There's no video, right?
Yeah.
They may not be able to actually film him for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's a lot of people's playthings in jail right now.
Yeah.
Well, he might be happy then. Maybe it worked out from the end.
Yeah.
Can I quickly talk about one of my favorite moments with Businessman? And yes, I'm going to refer to him as Businessman because that's who he is to me. It's when he's talking about working undercover for the agents, and the guy who's making the documentary, he talks to Joe's first husband, John. Is that his name? Check. I think it's John. Yeah. He says something to John about, oh yeah, did you know about James working with the FBI? And he just he just stares blankly for a few seconds and goes, what? That's news to me. I don't know why, but it was just, I cracked up at that.
Well,
so many unintentionally hilarious things in this.
But that's why it's perfect. It's just it's so natural. If you tried to write this down in a movie, it wouldn't work. It's just it's them in their natural habitats.
This one little corner of reality that just is like that is just so. Yeah, a lot of reality is pretty boring when you really break it down, but that just little section is just like. There's just so much like story and so much, I don't know. It's so bizarre it has to be true.
Yep, truth is stranger than fiction.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Well, I give it a 10 out of 10. It was great.
You gave it definitely. What? A 10 out of 10?
10 out of 10. Must watch.
Mm-hmm. Required viewing for at least at the very least, at least one time through, I would say.
Yeah.
It's not a real pandemic if you didn't watch Tiger King.
So
Exactly.
Brian, who obviously is not on the show today, telling us that he's never seen it and probably won't. I mean, he is. We're trying to convince him he's got to watch it. He has no clue what he's in for.
Yeah, I like how for those of you, for the one of you who's actually listening to this podcast right now, we have an ongoing thread where we communicate with one another and give ideas and all that. And Mr. Brian Hajic, as Rick said, didn't watch this, and everyone else in the thread was like giving him a hard time for not watching this movie or this show.
I think I was
even
one of the first
wasting
ones
his
to
life because he hasn't seen it. Wasting his life.
I think
even
I was one of the
people who are
first ones to chime in and say, yes, let's do this. Yes, 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 this sounds great.
Even people who are not able to join us on this episode were like, you need to watch this. So, I mean, this is hopefully he will eventually watch it and
We'll get his thoughts.
give his thoughts at that point. But
He might be under the impression he won't like it because he doesn't like anybody on it, but he needs to understand that's the beauty of it. You do not have to like anybody on this show to like it.
It's like an episode of It's Always Sunny brought to life.
Exactly. Yes. Wow. That's 100% accurate.
So, well, we've been kind of going on here for quite a while. It's according to my recording, it's about an hour and 20 some odd minutes.
And we've only scratched the surface of this. There's so much that happened. I know we were trying to explain it character by character, but it's impossible. There's just so much. You mentioned one thing, and then you're like, oh, I have to talk about this too.
Have you guys seen Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas?
Yeah. I have.
So Hunter S. Thompson at the end, the quote is something like, "Too rare to die and too weird to live," or something like that.
Yes.
You know, that's all these people is that. You know, I love it.
I'm pretty sure Joe Exotic is a character dreamt up in a Hunter S. Thompson fever dream. Then
he escaped.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's perfect though.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it. We talked a lot about this. I think we've all are in support of the Tiger King and its existence. If they ever make a movie out of this, who knows? They better strike now because in a year or two, no one's going to care about this anymore.
Right.
I'm going to make a prediction right here, right now.
Do it.
Timestamp is September 13th, 2020. The election's about a little over a month away. Before the election time rolls around, our president,
do you mean 2 months away?
Is it 2 months?
Elections in November every 4 years.
Yeah.
It's the middle of September.
Month and a half. A little over a month and a half away. Between now and then, if Carol Baskin's get on Dancing with the Stars, President Trump can pardon Joe Exotic from prison. I'm calling it. It's going to be his one ace in the hole.
The one thing I would support. I would support this.
I think that's totally going to happen.
We need more Joe Exotic in our life, I think.
If he wins, instead of pardoning a turkey, he's going to pardon Joe Exotic.
Who actually is a turkey.
Yeah. He's going to be like, this year, instead of pardoning a turkey, I'm pardoning a Tiger King.
Trump's going to replace Pence with Joe Exotic. It's going to be his last-ditch effort.
Oh, don't make me like this ticket.
All right. Well, on that wonderful note, cool cats and kittens, I think we'll wrap up here. So thank you all for chiming in with Joe Exotic. And I think next time, whether we actually record this next week or not, I'm not sure. We'll find out. We'll figure that out. But I think we're going to be doing The Last Dance, another popular documentary that was not on Netflix at the time, but it is now, about the Chicago Bulls. So
highly recommended.
Yes.
I'm not even a sports fan, and it's fantastic.
So we'll save the discussion.
Show, Mike.
So, and cuz I was going to say this before the recording, I'm going to say it now. Happy anniversary. I know it's tomorrow or the next day. I can't recall.
No, it is. It will be tomorrow.
Okay. 1 year down.
Many more to go.
Before Megan pulls a Baskin on you.
Yeah.
If she suddenly
Yeah.
takes a large interest in tigers and owning tigers, just
Yeah. If
think twice.
Or a
yeah,
meat
don't send,
grinder.
yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
don't
Or
send
a
us a
septic
meat
tank.
grinder.
No,
Yeah.
no cats of any kind. That's how it starts.
Not allowed.
Yeah, dogs only.
Oh, ours is we have one dog and he's blind, so I think I should be fine.
Perfect.
Oh, he's fine. He gets around the house just fine.
Poor puppy. So, alrighty. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the All New Culture Cast. So, thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll see you next time. You've been listening to the All New Culture Cast. We try to post new episodes every Monday evenings, 3 to 4 times a month. Check out our backlog. We could be found at allnewculturecast.libsyn.com. You can also find us on Apple iTunes and wherever else podcasts can be downloaded and listened to. This has been the All New Culture Cast, a Saltwater production. Original material copyright 2020. Thanks for listening.
Well, thank you so much for having me on. Sorry if I talked over everybody. I'm bad at that.
No, it's fine. We're a fly-by-night operation, so whatever.